Carolyn every night on the news, and of course, what comes through loud and clear is that she's obviously very intelligent, she's very passionate about her work, she's caring, she's elegant, charming, and she's extremely good at her job. Now I get to tell you some of the things that maybe not all of us know about this very extraordinary woman. Now, as a former homicide investigator, I can tell you I've had an easier time tracking down serial killers than I did locating Carolyn Mackenzie in 10 minutes of her time. So that should give you an idea of just exactly how busy she is. An extraordinary busy professional in family life. It keeps her on the run, and it makes it very difficult for people like you to catch up and do an interview. But we got one done. Her husband, Chris, who joins her today, is a Toronto firefighter. And it's interesting that, I guess, as couples, we have a lot in common with my wife, Marie, and I. You're an investigative reporter. I'm an investigator. You're a firefighter. I was a police officer. My wife was a police officer. You can probably hang out sometime. And like you, our children are a little bit older, but we're very busy parents as well. And Carolyn and Chris had two beautiful children. Kate, who I understand, is almost 6, and Matt, who's almost 3. So that keeps Carolyn and Chris very busy throughout their day, and keeping that fast pace with the kids, as we all know, is a full-time job. So Carolyn is busy at work. She does her investigative reporting work. She preps on news stories. She's helping write and edit the news every day. She's doing pre-tape segments for the show. And when the rest of us are sort of brushing our teeth and getting ready for bed, that's when Carolyn Mackenzie is getting back into makeup and having to be completely focused and switched on at 11 o'clock, when most of us have probably got a cup of tea or maybe something a little stronger in our hand. So all of that after a very long day, and trying to keep up with her family. And Carolyn has told me that her ultimate goal in life is to find that work balance that we all try to achieve, and for professionals like Carolyn, sometimes very difficult. But she did tell me, and I like what she said about that the most important thing to her was, first of all, her family, and second of all, her very busy career. As a matter of fact, this is exactly what she said to me. She said, I love my job, but I love my family more. As parents, we need to be leaders at home, as well as be leaders in our professional lives. I would not sacrifice my family for my career. I thought that was a very powerful statement. So Carolyn, you look beautiful, but based on our conversation, you must be exhausted. So congratulations on your career, continued success with your family, and congratulations for being this year's recipient of a very distinguished award, the Toastmasters Communication and Leadership Award. So I'd like to ask Vicki Moskowitz to come forward to help you.
Thank you so much, Dave, and thank you for your support of the conference by being sponsored. Carolyn, Toastmasters International, District 60 would like to present you with our Communication and Leadership Award for the spring 2014 for being an outstanding member of our community, an outstanding leader, and just an overall wonderful human being. Thank you for your generosity and contributions to our community. Congratulations.
Hello, everyone. Dave, it is Vicki. Thank you for that. That was lovely. Your words were lovely. And Dave, same to you. When I heard that you were going to be introducing me, I was shocked. Like, hey, what's Dave doing out at Toastmasters introducing me? But I'm so happy that you. I think you really volunteered yourself to be a part of this. And I'm so honored by that. And that's so lovely because we have worked over the years on many different stories, and I always have that frantic voice, I know. Even this week, as Dave said, he was telling the truth. This week, he was trying to get a hold of me. I'm like, Dave, I'm going to know the story. What? Okay, let's go over this. And that is me constantly just asking my husband. I'm always trying to do too many things at once. But thank you. It means a lot for you to be here. I'm going to shock my grandmother right now by removing my shoe, because I have to show you this shoe, okay? This shoe, and Dan, it's going to go back on my foot shortly. Elton, poor Elton, probably like, please put your shoes back on. This shoe has fallen off, literally and figuratively, more times than I can count over the last 20 years. And only now can I truly embrace that there are two kinds of people up there. There are those where things happen quite easily, and then there's me. I'll put the shoe back on. So, picture it. 20 years ago, there's a crease in this platform. I gotta stand over it carefully. 20 years ago, Toronto searched for Miss Universe. Yes, I'm a contestant. Keep that to yourselves, I don't put it up there all that often. My name is called, I go up on stage. My shoe has a case of stage fright. Doesn't come up with me, hear everyone gasp. Little did I know at that time, this would be the constant theme over the next 20 years in my journalism career, losing my footing. So now let's fast forward. I just finished journalism school, and a great opportunity is before me. There's a hosting job available at Rogers Cable for the show Toronto Living. I know this will be my break. This will give me my broadcast experience. I'm fresh out of journalism school. It'll give me a demo tape. It'll give me exposure. I want it so badly, I can taste it. You know when you want something so much, it backfires. Just, the pressure is, you put so much pressure on yourself. Let's just say the shoe falls off again. Not literally, because then we have a problem with keeping our shoes on our feet, but figuratively. The audition, I tank it. I can't speak, I can't walk and talk, which is kind of important for this show. I'm hosting, telling Toronto about Toronto, and I can't walk or talk, I can't show anything. I go home from that audition so upset. I can't sleep that night. Around 2 a.m. I call the producer's office line, and I leave a message saying, please let me do that audition over again. If not for the show, even if you've made your mind for the show, for me, I need to know that I can do better. I know I can. Well, she called the next day, and I did the audition again, and I got the job. I did it that time. The shoe was back on the foot. I'm moving forward. That year, I'm gaining confidence, I'm building momentum, and eventually I applied for my first news position out in Atlantic Canada. And it's a videographer position. I don't know if you know what that entails, but it requires a few skills. In the telephone interview, the news director from ATV said, can you operate a news camera? Yeah. Can you report and edit your stories and then feed them every day to Halifax? Yeah, I can do that. I just graduated from journalism, so I can do all of that. Next thing you know, I'm on a plane to Sydney, Nova Scotia to cover news for Cape Breton Island and then send those stories back to Halifax every day. As I'm rolling into downtown Sydney, I'm thinking, what did I just do? What have I gotten myself into? I think it's safe now to say, so many years later, I slightly oversold myself. A little bit. First couple of weeks, let's just say camera and editing skills weren't as good as I had promised. People aren't I would come back, interviews had no audio because I didn't put the microphone on people. I didn't color correct, so they were a lovely shade of blue.
And then of course there's my lack of experience in going live. Live. Just the word makes you sweat. Live television. Well, so there's ATV's Live at 5 show. The show's just begun. The anchor, Ron Cronstein, in Halifax, rose to me to our bureau in Cape Breton in Sydney, and I began to speak. I'm fine in that moment, until a car full of teens drives by, honking their horn and hollering. I glanced over at them, turned back to the camera, right there, and forgot what I was saying. And staring at the camera. You know the expression, dear to heaven? I think I coined it because I'm staring blankly. And I didn't even have a picture of me in Halifax in the newsroom there of that moment, because I heard in Halifax, the station came to a standstill. They're all like, we got one, frozen one. Everyone was looking up at their TV screens at me, just staring at the camera. See, this is why you start in smaller markets, so that no one in Toronto, the largest market in Canada, knows any of these stories. Oh my goodness. I know they're in my story. Needless to say, they didn't come back to me for a live tag, which they were supposed to. I hear, cancel Carolyn in Sydney. Take out my ear, please go back to my desk in the bureau. Sobbed my heart out. You and your crew saw that live hit in your station that day. They were able to, this time shift, whatever, time shifting you saw. Yeah, they don't let it down for me either. Anyway, the phone rings. It's my boss. He says to me, all right, kid, you're doing a live hit tomorrow. You're getting back on the saddle. Okay. Next day, I dust myself off, wiped away the tears. I think I was still crying. And I nailed the next day's live hit. Shoe was back on. After a year out east, moved back to Ontario, where I get a job at the new VR in Barrie. Now I'm just reporting. I no longer have to lug a camera around. I no longer have to edit my own work. It's fabulous. Now during this stage of my career, the shoe doesn't fall off as often. Don't get me wrong, it gets very wobbly. Based on my earlier experiences, I'm able to negotiate the missteps a little better. But again, the shoe gets wobbly, those missteps happen. And how could they not? We are in live television. Everything I do and say is on record. I tell this to people all the time. We work in an office, and our friends, when you make a mistake, you push the delete button. Delete, delete, delete. You don't send that memo out. Someone crosses it off, whatever. There's no delete button in my world. When I make a mistake, it's out there for everyone to see and hear. And then there's the reality of breaking news, where a breaking situation is evolving before everyone's eyes, and people turn to us to make sense of it. Well, you don't see what you don't see. There's an IFB in my ear, and a number of people in the control room that are talking to me. There was a director calling the shots, saying, we're going to be going to this camera next, where Jackson Prosper was standing by, or and then after that, there's this camera over here that's going to be standing by with this team over there. There's the producer giving me little bits. When this is a breaking news situation, the producer's then feeding me some more information that I'm writing down, making notes. I'm constantly looking at my emails to see if the assignment desk is sending me more information about the situation that's unfolding. All of this is going on, and I'm trying to be really calm to you. And I'm trying to filter. So here, I always tell people, here's the key. When you know, the more frantic, the more breaking the situation, if an anchor starts to speak slower, that's because a lot of people are talking about it and they're trying to digest all the information and filter. They're like, and so you see. Because a lot of people are talking. That's a little trick to look out for. And the other thing, the thing is, I like the chatter. In our business, we want the chatter, we want the communication. It's when it's silent, that's when I get really worried, because then no one knows what's happening, and the collective shoe that the whole team wears in the newsroom is about to fall off. But it's in those times that, based on my earlier experiences, I take a step back and I breathe. If I forget my lines now, I slough it off, I make a joke out of it if I can. Obviously, if it's a serious situation, I can't joke about it. Or I'll just tell the director, if I can't get that, I'll take the story. I'll tell them to do that. If I feel nervous, I give myself a pep talk. And I tell myself, you can do it. The big one, to this day I tell myself this, don't let the moment have power over you. You have power over it. Own it. Now, I tell these stories to journalism students who are with us and intern with us now. I tell them my horror stories, not necessarily to prevent them from having them themselves, because we all know everyone's going to encounter these. Achievements don't come easily, but when they do eventually come, they taste so much sweeter, like moments like today, because of those obstacles you experienced along the way. I tell our interns, your shoe will fall off, probably again and again and again, but that's not what matters. It's that you put it back on again and move forward. And that really applies to all of us in any situation, whether you're delivering a Toastmasters speech or making a presentation at work. Which reminds me. So, remember the story about my shoe actually literally falling off at the Toronto Search for Miss Universe? Well, I turned around, retrieved it, placed it back on my foot, carried on, and I actually won that competition. And I did go on to represent Toronto, Miss Canada. So, my point is, I learned to expect the unexpected and work with it. That is the theme of my life. You can actually stare defeat in the face and still succeed. Thank you, Toastmasters. Specifically, District 60 for recognizing my success to date. And of course, Marilyn Latchford for nominating me. Honoring me in this way, and Vicky's words were so lovely, means more to me than you will ever know. And I can't believe it. Because it was the journey, oh, how did this happen? And my family's here to talk to it, and you. Oh my goodness. It's the journey to get here. It wasn't easy. It was so hard. And I just gave you guys a few examples. But that's why when you get honored and you get such accolades, it does taste sweet. And I'm so appreciative for it, because I just know how hard I worked to get to this point. And I'm going to still work hard. I'm only halfway through my career, hopefully. So, but it also shows that I'm connecting with my community. With this award, there's that connection. You guys honor me by giving me this and showing me that I'm connecting to you, and that really is the true measure of my success. Thank you, thank you, thank you.